This is Daily Blast Live. We're talking about what you're talking about.
Get real.
No.
Y'all,
This
just
is
stop.
a sham.
It's finally here. Drum roll.
Welcome to DBL. Happy Wednesday, everybody. How we feeling up here?
Feeling
good.
great, man.
Feeling good.
Bum, bum. Right?
Oh.
What do you mean, oh?
I'm just channeling
Because I backed it up?
until she comes back.
Yeah.
You did it very dad-like.
Because, no, I didn't. I was
Yes,
like,
you did.
dude, I did it like Jazz Club Smooth.
No. I literally
They
felt
call
like I
him
was...
white ice.
My man.
Kills
Thank
it.
you, buddy. Thank you.
Got a red Kango hat on.
Not white ice.
Yes.
Clipping that for my reel. White Ice coming to a theater near you. All right, let's get to it, guys. We're starting today with some stars talking about their relationship with food. First, SJP Sarah Jessica Parker says she keeps different kinds of sweets like cookies and cake in her house so her daughters have a healthier relationship with food. And then there's Valerie Bertinelli, who chimes in on everything, who's on the cover of People magazine. She talks about how she's freed herself from body shame and has learned to indulge in food. She says, quote, "I don't deny myself anything anymore, and I will eat pasta when she feels like it rather than feeling shame about the calories she just ate."
So we got a little message from a General Mills spokesperson who says the company complies with federal regulations and works closely with... Was that when I was supposed to talk about that?
You can just keep going.
Okay.
That's all right. It's a late show.
And
It doesn't
works
matter.
closely with a variety of scientific, health, nutrition, and other credentialed experts to ensure we provide accurate evidence-based information. And that is in response to the company being accused of funding nutritionists who are also sharing Valerie Bertinelli's message.
But yeah, I think like what we're doing is like
So nobody knows what that was about the message from
Anti-diet trends.
That's
I
right.
think
That's right.
what we're seeing here is we're seeing companies like General Mills, they will get an influencer or a nutritionist who is an influencer, basically pour a bowl of their cereal that is completely like absolutely empty calories and act like it's good for them. And I think that's the way marketing works now. You're not going to see it on commercials and advertisements. You're going to see it on TikTok. You're going to see it on Instagram. So they're just pivoting. It's nothing new. It's just now on social.
that's the way all those commercials used to end. Part of a balanced breakfast, and they would show whatever, even if it was a sugary-filled cereal, next to a gigantic glass of orange juice, which we now know is all sugar. And, but there'd be a little bit, berries or whatever you would put in your cereal. And I think what we're seeing right now is a war of ideas. At first, we were told, everything was like, watch out for fat. There was like anti-fat, but no one said anything about sugar.
And there's good fat.
Right, and there's good fat. But we didn't know any of that
Right.
in 96, 88, And now everybody realized the sugar is bad. So you can't have that big glass of orange juice. Or people realize that, juice in general has a lot of sugar. So now we're seeing them hire influencers that used to go after them for being sugary and hiring them out to say, no, it's okay, because those influencers are just mercenaries.
Yeah.
They're just people that you hire to sell your message, and no different than a spokesperson.
Yeah, but here's the thing. For every message, there is an audience.
Yes.
And I look at Valerie Bertinelli, and I'm thinking this is someone who's been very public for decades about her battle with her weight. And the idea that she's having a better relationship with food where she's not actually eating and thinking about all of the guilt that comes along with the calories and the idea of if she's going to gain weight. And I think a lot of people might be able to resonate with that message. I know the past couple years for me have been very much like I've had to let go of what my body was before because I'm going through some things medically. And I'm trying to get my mind mentally prepared for the idea that, one, I can dress my body at any size. I can feel confident at any size, regardless of what's happening. I want to be able to enjoy the company of, because food is like a big social thing for me. And I don't want to have to think about that. And I've chosen not to think about it. And I think a lot of people are starting to make that shift in their minds.
I think that's really healthy. I think it's healthy too. If you're a parent, you model what your kids are going to later execute within their own lives. So if you're constantly talking about carbs and reading the label and saying there's too much sugar here, too much sugar there, they're going to absorb that. And it's going to affect their relationship with food. But if you can buy mostly healthy stuff, and like the way I do it is I don't limit them from sugar, but I try and make it a little bit healthier of sugar products, then I just think there's a little bit more of a balance and moderation there. I don't want to talk about calories in front of my kids. I don't want to talk about sugar in front of my kids. However, I come from a place of privilege. We are naturally thin. If you have children that are struggling and they're eating too much sugar, how do you balance that? Because you do want to make sure that they're healthy.
I do want to take some of the weight off of the parents, because we all know, we've met a brother and sister, two brothers, two sisters, and you're like, how did these two people come from the same household? No matter how they, it's like, how are you guys even related? And I think there will be some kids that grow up under a father that's like, no sugar ever, and rebel, and they turn 18 and they have all the sugar and all the burritos. And some people are like, all there was bad stuff for me. I'm gonna have some salads. And it really is kind of who you are inside and who you're going to naturally. I think your instinct is your true God and who you are going to be. And you can influence it and try and give healthy tips. But I think once those kids are 17, 18, and now, 15, and out in the world, you can't really police what they're doing. You can suggest, but even those suggestions might push them further away.
Tricky,
so it's just tough, because you raise these kids, but you don't really have control. You have the illusion of control.
Yeah, my kids are 7 and 5, and they weigh the same.
Right.
They're two different body types,
Right.
So you just got to manage that a little bit later. Right now, we don't put any regulations on what to eat. Their kids, and they play outside, and they're healthy, right?
Exactly.
But when they get a little older and their bodies change, and maybe one does put on one weight and one wants to put on more weight, you adjust accordingly. All right, well, you got to eat some of these if you want to be bigger and play this sport. And if you want to paint and do this and be a little thinner, well, then you got to do this. I'm going to talk to my kids the way I want to. What's in the real world and what's working out there for everybody, do that. I'm going to do what I want with my kids. How about that?
Well, you are the main influencer.
Yeah, is that going to be okay in the future?
Anybody.
Yeah. So, I don't know, got a little snippy about that one. Coming up on DBL, J-Lo rebrands her tour. Is it because of poor ticket sales? Huh? And Travis Kelce talks about what he's learned after dating Taylor Swift. Well, he's still dating her, but what he's learned on his journey. Welcome back. Travis Kelce is opening up about how Taylor Swift inspires him and what he has learned from her since the two have been dating. So this is what he said to the Hollywood Reporter.
Don't try and be Taylor. That's what I learned. Yeah, she's on a whole nother stratosphere. I'd be silly if I ever tried to take anything from what she does, other than, just enjoy the people that show up. I think that's one thing I could probably take away is she really, relates to the people she's performing in front of, and so I'll take that.
I've got to give a shout out to Travis Kelce because he just won the Super Bowl, but every question is about Taylor. And he takes it in stride and answers all the questions with a smile on his face. I'd be like, guys, I just won a Super Bowl too. I'd throw a joke out there or something, but he takes it in stride, and that's what people want to hear.
I think he's proud of her.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love when one partner, all they want to do is talk about their love because they see them almost on a pedestal. And I think that's wonderful. But this is what he said, according to the People interview. Fresh off his third Super Bowl win and a recent vacation to the Bahamas with Taylor, he said, "I'm the happiest I've ever been. I'm oozing life right now."
I'm curious, what has your partner taught you, or what have you learned from your partner, Sam?
My partner, I used to be a yeller when I was angry.
Right. Did he call you Old Yeller?
And my husband does not yell. It reminds me of you, Al. You do not yell. And he believes you can talk everything out. And that's been really hard for me to change because I grew up in a family that primarily yelled. And so I had to go to therapy and I had to do a lot of things to talk out my feelings, no matter how angry I get. And slowly but surely, I'm evolving into a better person because of him.
That's
what about you,
big
Erica?
deal.
Good question.
I've learned that he's taught me that you don't have to get everything right now. And when you are working towards things in moderation, that it's so much sweeter when you do attain it. So it's kind of slowed me down a little bit in the idea that everything needs to happen now.
I love that.
Al?
Oh,
Wow. Is this
I can't wait for
Is this
yours.
around the horn
I
and
can't wait
compliment
for
each
Jeff's.
other?
we should be in front of a campfire doing this.
Yeah, we've done it plenty of times.
You know what, Jeff, honestly, man, it's an interesting question because when Sam was answering, I was thinking about that. And I think what I've learned from my girl is like she loves something. She loves baseball. She grew up watching it with her dad. Her dad sadly passed away. And so like she works in baseball, the enthusiasm that she has for it. We live in a world now where you can monetize your hate. You go online, 10 things about why McDonald's sucks.
Yeah.
And you'll get a lot of views. And it's like now I focused on only listening to things where people are talking about things they love. Movies they love and why, art they like and why, music, and it changed my perspective on like understanding like the hate is so easy to fall into.
Yes.
And it's harder to love something even with its imperfections, even though the Rockies aren't looking that great this year. She's watched every inning. And I'm sitting right there with her, and it doesn't matter because like that's what she loves. So it sounds super corny, but it's way harder to love something than it is to hate it. What about you, Jeff?
Jordan taught you?
They're visiting the Cubs, and the Cubs are
they played last night.
Yeah, they get beaten up on them. Jordan taught me, you know what she does? She's great in every way, but she's taught me to give people more time. She talks to everybody. Our neighbors, if you call her on the phone, she'll talk to you for hours. Aww. My parents, she talks, and I'm just like, hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, see ya. And I just leave, you know what I mean? So she's taught me like to give a little bit more time back.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. Is it? All right.
Yes, it is.
It's a real thing. Like, you got to learn from your partner. So I dig that.
Okay. Speaking of Taylor, she has officially joined Forbes' billionaire list with a net worth of $1.1 billion. So she's become a billionaire. She became a billionaire in October, largely because of her record-breaking Eras Tour, which became the first tour in history to gross more than $1 billion. She joins 13 other celebrities on the list, including women like Rihanna, who, along with being a singer, has her cosmetic and lingerie companies, of course. Kim Kardashian also became a billionaire because of her beauty and clothing brands. Oprah became the first black female in 2003. In the years since, she has built her brand into a media and business empire. Thanks for adding that. I didn't know who Oprah was. Also on the list is Jeff Bezos' ex-wife, philanthropist Mackenzie Scott.
Who's literally giving her billions of dollars away.
The one that Jeff
woman.
gave her?
No.
Just kidding. Just kidding.
Clearly, we
She
don't know how
helped.
building an empire with a partner works
Yeah.
because give is a strong word.
Did she make Amazon? No.
She helped. And
She
she's
was
part of
a partnership.
She was.
I don't know about that argument.
I do know about it
Yeah,
because
a billionaire for being a partner?
Yeah.
Sounds like the lotto,
It's called
not
partner in life. And that garage was very small, okay?
So you can have the garage. I'll take the company.
Forbes estimates that about $500 million of Taylor's fortune is cash from music royalties and touring, which makes her an anomaly on this billionaires list. Because a lot of people have products, companies.
True.
Taylor
say
doesn't.
almost
It's
all.
coming. Yeah, it's coming from her music. Another $500 million is from the increasing value of her music catalog, and $125 million comes from real estate.
Wow.
That's it. I mean, you know, that's what makes Taylor so unique is like if you think about even people we like love and we know made a lot of money like George Clooney, he made his money on tequila.
Yep.
You know, that's where Rihanna, world famous for the last 30 years, she made her money on
Cosmetics.
cosmetics.
Fenty, yeah.
So that's really unique, and I don't know how many people just did that just on touring.
Taylor can splash her name on anything and probably make millions of dollars with one little post, and she doesn't.
Can you imagine all the things that are presented to her?
It's like the difference between her and the Kardashians,
Yeah.
right? They literally make their money by splashing their name on things, but Taylor's like, no, I'm only going to put my name on something that I wrote, that I produce, that I own.
And it also makes the things you do put your name on that much more valuable. So.
Yep.
Interesting.
Go,
Yes.
girl.
Coming up on DBL. See what I just did there? I got out of the conversation by just screaming yes.
Oh, we know.
Is J-Lo trying to save her upcoming tour from being a big flop? We're going to talk about it next.
Don't be fooled by the rocks that I got. I'm still Jenny from the block. Used to have a little, now I have a lot. No matter where I go, I know where I came from.
Welcome back. That was a clip of J-Lo's song Jenny from the Block, which she might be performing during her upcoming tour. So get this, according to Variety, her tour is being retitled to focus more on her greatest hits and not just her new album called This Is Me Now. This rebrand comes weeks after she suddenly canceled several dates from her tour for no reason, and many think it was because of the weak ticket sales.
Do you want to hear about these
Yeah.
ticket sales? This surprised me because I still consider Jennifer Lopez a force. I mean, she literally performed the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. So her new album is the lowest charting of her career. And This Is Me Now sold 14,000 copies in the U.S. in February.
I couldn't.
14,000.
That's insane.
I know. Her #1 album back in 2001, J-Lo, 3.8 million copies.
14.
Just
1,000.
over Sam's shoulder, I saw one of, I don't know for a lot of to say people's names anymore, but Justine, my homegirl,
Yeah.
she reacted the same way that I
Yeah.
did when I heard that number.
Right.
Like, you almost gasped because J-Lo is such an institution
Yeah.
in music and our culture, going back to, the Fly Girls with In Living Color, and the idea that somebody that did the Super Bowl, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago.
So what happened?
Her newsletter.
But you're joking, but maybe
No,
it is
I think it's
oversaturation.
embarrassing. Yeah, it's over. They're like, all right, listen, I got it, J-Lo. I get your newsletter every day. Now I can't get off of that chain
Right,
message.
I still
and
get it.
You kind of get turned off by things like that, by knowing too much. I don't know. That's just a guess.
I don't know. I think that J-Lo is one of those people that I'm always reminded by what Al said, like season 1, about how you start your career like as a stand-up or whatever, and you get this special that you worked on for years, and it's like really innately who you are, and then they're like, okay, that's great, that was successful, let's get you a second one, and you don't have the same type of material because you're so busy on the road and doing all of this other stuff.
Or are you complacent because you don't have that hunger anymore?
And she's not complacent,
Right.
but I think a part of this past couple years might have created some distance between her
And the block.
and the block.
Really? Yeah.
Plus, she's getting some crazy hate on social media. Like people have just been
is?
coming,
Why?
coming for her like hardcore about her authenticity and like all of this stuff. So I don't know. I think that there's distance.
Let me ask you guys this, the unpleasant question. She just dropped an album. What if it just wasn't good?
Yeah.
There was a line in Mo Better Blues, and I think about it all the time as a stand-up comic, because you can go, oh, we didn't sell tickets because it's raining, and then NASCAR's in town, and there's another. If you play what the people like, the people will come. And maybe this album happens with art
That's an
all the time.
interesting point.
It just, maybe the people aren't coming because they didn't like our
Yeah, I
album,
listen
Sam.
to the radio, which is weird. I don't really until you got me into Spotify recently,
Right.
I don't hear any of her hits on the
Right.
radio.
They play what the people
not
like.
hits.
Yeah.
I don't hear anything new on the radio.
You would think that you would hear the latest
I don't
single.
know. This is me now.
No, nobody does. So she shouldn't have started her
You
tour
don't
off
know
with
her
that.
in your Mariah Carey voice.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and then what happened?
That's an Andy Cohen.
Yeah, Mariah Carey,
inside.
when J-Lo was brought up, she's like, I don't know her. I don't know her.
Yeah, well,
That's like the ultimate shade.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe she made the presumptive thing that she should tour on an album that wasn't popular yet. I'm gonna stay right in this. I don't know why no one's moving.
We got thrown for a loop there. All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back. This is important. You check the detailed report from your medical bills. If not, it might be time to start. A new Kaiser poll found that 1 in 3 adults have received a surprise medical charge in the last 2 years, and 65% are afraid they won't be able to afford them. And this got us thinking, have you ever noticed something on your bill that didn't belong, or have you ever been double charged?
I want to be more financially literate, like you and your wife.
Well,
Jeff, go to school, man, because I learned from you.
Yeah.
I can't get too fired up. We don't have that much
Please.
time. But my wife writes everything down and doesn't put things on automatic payment on purpose because she finds inconsistencies with company like the medical industry. They tried to charge us twice for having a baby.
And that's
that
not
was
cheap.
a big check.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
But
big
it was
check.
a great baby.
It's so good.
What if
I'll pay twice for it.
Let's say she had a bunch of money, right? And let's say she was like, oh gosh, whoops, and did it again.
If that's on automatic payment, you don't check that until your bank
One
statement
out of
comes
3.
I brought up Jordan in case studies with my husband because he's so scared of like his credit score that he's like, no, it needs to be paid right away. And I'm like, you should talk to Jordan because I'm telling you.
That's what they depend on.
See, there's another plus for my wife. If healthcare costs are one of your top concerns, Better Benefits can help. When it comes to Medicare questions, many Americans already on the program may not have a plan with all the benefits accessible to them, so reach out to a Medicare Advantage advisor today. The benefit review is free. Just call 800-909-2613. Yeah, that fires me up when people just
You
steal
should
money.
teach a
It
class
should be
to high
illegal.
school students about that, like checking their bill. Seriously.
Oof. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.